気をつけお願いします。
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable J.D. Vance, Vice President of the United States of America, accompanied by Vice Admiral Yvette M. Davids, United States Navy, the Superintendent of the United States Naval Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Angels, the Navy's Precision Flight Demonstration Squadron, will be approaching momentarily from the south behind us in a salute to the class of 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, we invite all of our guests to remain standing for our national anthem, sung by Midshipman First Class Quinn Gonzalez, and then the invocation by Captain Maurice Buford, Chaplain Corps, United States Navy.
The twilight's last gleaming, whose broad strength Let us pray. Most gracious and triumphant God, we come to announce to the world that these warriors are ready to fight tonight. For the record reflects they have the moral clarity for the fog of war, the mental agility to outwit the opposition, and more importantly, the spiritual readiness to say on behalf of we the people, of the people, and by the people, that the best is yet to come. So would you stretch forth your hand and stir up our faith as a people? For only then will we know that all things are possible to those that dare to believe. Now receive all of your glory, your power, and your honor forever. Amen.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the 65th Superintendent of the United States Naval Academy, Vice Admiral Yvette M. Davids.
Good morning, 2025. What a glorious day it is. Welcome to the graduation and commissioning for the great class of 2025. There should be no question about the significance of today. We have the privilege of hosting our Vice President, the Honorable J.D. Vance, the Secretary of the Navy, Secretary Phelan, the Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Smith, and the Acting Chief of Naval Operations, Admiral Kilby. Also joining us today is Senator Sullivan from the great state of Alaska, a former Marine and the Chairman of the Naval Academy Board of Visitors. And esteemed members of the board, Congressman Jake Elzy of Texas, a proud member of the class of '92, and former fighter pilot, and Congressman Derek Van Orden of Wisconsin, retired Navy SEAL. And Congressman Rob Bresnam of Pennsylvania is also with us today. Thank you for joining us as we celebrate the class of 2025. I'm honored you could be with us today. Class of 2025, this week has been a whirlwind for you. So please allow yourself a brief moment to take it all in. Look around, go ahead, at your classmates next to you, now up at the stands. Find your family and friends and sponsor families and loved ones. Give them a wave. To all of the parents, grandparents, guardians, and mentors out in the crowd, I want to thank you for instilling the values that attracted your midshipmen to want to serve and to live a life of consequence. We are forever in your debt. And thank you to our amazing and incredible dedicated faculty, staff, coaches, and sponsor families who contributed to this class's development into officers of character dedicated to the profession of arms. So 2025, to those who have challenged you and pushed you to achieve greater things than you thought possible, to those who have supported you and mentored you, please join me in giving them a heartfelt round of applause. And thank you to all who have worked so diligently to set up this beautiful ceremony and to make this commissioning week so special. We appreciate you. A special welcome to the members of the class of 1975, 2025's link in the chain. 50 years ago, they graduated from our academy, and today they represent that 50-year link and shared heritage with the class of 2025. Thank you, class of 75, for being so active in the lives of these midshipmen since I-Day, inspiring them with wisdom, insight, and legacy. Now, 2025, I again ask that you look around, but this time, look at the exquisite Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium you are in. Around the stadium, you will find the names of several U.S. Navy battles, engagements, and pivotal moments in our history. These names represent the Navy and Marine Corps' legacy from 1775 to 1845 to today. Each and every one of you is now an integral part of that legacy. So 25, look at these names, and now I want you each to pick one name that you can see, and I want you to remember that name, dedicate that name to memory. That name, it represents more than just a battle, more than just naval tactics and strategy or historical facts. The name you chose represents hundreds, thousands or even hundreds of thousands of Americans, sailors, and Marines, naval officers who were once just like you, who rose to answer the call to service, who rose to the challenge of their age and chose to risk all in the service of others. So 2025, while this stadium is a physical symbol and memorial to our Navy and our Marine Corps, always remember that you are the living legacy. You are the young people of our age who have chosen a life of service. Remember that name, and remember that you are assuming a rich heritage, a great honor, and a sacred obligation. But you have been preparing for this day and the assumption of those incredible responsibilities for the past 1,423 days since I-Day. Although this adventure is coming to a close, you are about to embark on many more. You are headed around the globe to places like Quantico, Pensacola, San Diego, Charleston, Norfolk, to Sasebo, Rhoda, and Hawaii, and to our international classmates who are soon to head home. A special congratulations to you. You each have an incredible future awaiting you. But know, Annapolis will always be here for you, and the Naval Academy will always be your home. And this moment right now, surrounded by your classmates and the legacy of those before you, this moment will be one of those that you will never forget. It will join other fond memories of crawling through mud and over obstacles at sea trials, bearing each other's weight as a team at Herndon twice, and swimming side by side at the first ever shellback ceremony. It will join memories of gloriously beating Army at every opportunity, of morning workouts with classmates before the sun has risen, the intensity of finals weeks, of incredible summer trainings across the globe that helped you find your operational calling, to your exceptional academic research capstone projects, and to the world-class musical and theatrical performances that showcase immense talent. And all of those shared experiences culminated today in your commissioning. And while today is the end of one chapter, it's the beginning of your careers as Navy and Marine Corps officers. On I-Day, you represented different corners of our nation and globe with different life circumstances and experiences. But now, at commissioning, you are a proud class of ethical warfighters who better understand the sacred oath you first took 4 years ago and will soon take again today. While we can never know with certainty what the future will hold for you or for our country, we do know that you are assuming a vital role. Your sacred obligation to our nation is to be prepared and to make sure that you and those that you lead are ready to both preserve peace and decisively win when called upon. Vice President Vance, Secretary Phelan, Commandant Smith, Acting CNO Kilby, and to all my shipmates out in the fleet, I want you to know the class of 2025 is strong. They are prepared and they are ready. '25, your Naval Academy family is incredibly proud of you. I'm incredibly proud of you, and I can't wait to see what you will accomplish in the years ahead. It is now my pleasure to introduce our 79th Secretary of the Navy, the Honorable John C. Phelan.
Well, I've been to many events, but this may be the coolest visual I've seen, so congratulations, really awesome. Mr. Vice President, Commandant, Acting Chief of Naval Operations, Superintendent, distinguished guests, faculty, staff, families, and most importantly, the class of 2025, good morning. Morning. Admiral Davids, thank you for the kind introduction. Serving as the 79th Secretary of the Navy is a privilege of my lifetime, and I thank President Trump for his trust and confidence in appointing me to this role. And it's a particular honor to welcome and thank Vice President J.D. Vance for his presence today. As a Marine and combat veteran, Vice President Vance represents what makes this nation great. Courage forged through hardship, service defined by humility, and deep, unshakable belief that this country is worth fighting for. From the hills of Ohio to the battlefields of Iraq, and now to the halls of leadership in the White House, Vice President Vance's journey reminds us that honor is not given, it is earned. Thank you, Mr. Vice President, for your example, your service, and your continued leadership. I'm truly honored and humbled to address the newest class of officers who will soon carry the weight of command and the hopes of our nation on their shoulders. You have earned the right to wear the uniform, not merely through the rigor of academics or the trials of Bancroft Hall, but through your daily commitment to something larger than yourselves. Today is a celebration, but is also a moment of transition. In a matter of days, you will be entrusted with lives, with missions vital to our national security, and with the legacy of those who came before you. From today forward, you are more than midshipmen. You are leaders in the Navy and Marine Corps, officers in a force that stands guard over freedom on every ocean, in every time zone, every hour of every day. That's no small thing, but let me be honest with you. What you're about to step into is not easy. The pace of change is accelerating. The threats are growing more sophisticated. The burden of leadership is heavier than ever, but so is the opportunity. The opportunity to shape the future of naval warfare, the opportunity to lead diverse, talented teams in ways that will define missions and even save lives. The opportunity to be exactly the kind of leader the world needs now. Smart, grounded, resilient, humble, and courageous. What will define you from this moment on is not your commission or your class rank or even your service selection. What will define you is how you lead when the pressure is on, when the plan falls apart, when lives are at stake, and when everyone around you looks to you for calm and courage. Leadership is never about you, it's about those you serve. General John Lejeune had it right when he said the relationship between officers and enlisted must be like teacher and scholar, not superior and inferior. Your people will teach you more than you expect. Respect that. Learn from them. Lead them well. You are not simply to give orders. You are to grow those under your command into something better. Instill in them the core values of honor, courage, and commitment, not just with words, but through example. Now, a quick word about values. Honor, courage, commitment. These aren't just words etched on academy walls or printed in manuals. They are your compass. And in a future filled with new technologies, cyber threats, and global instability, character will matter more than ever. You are inheriting a fleet that sails in a world full of complexity and consequence. We face adversaries who test the rule-based order at sea. We operate in an environment where innovation moves at the speed of relevance, and we must be agile, accountable, and adaptive, because lethality is just not about firepower. It is about clarity of purpose, efficiency of action, and unity of command. Admiral Rickover, the father of the nuclear navy, once said, "Responsibility is a unique concept. You may share it with others, but your portion is not diminished. You cannot delegate accountability. When the mission falters, your name is on the line. When it succeeds, share the credit. That is leadership. There will be days when you'll feel the weight or burden of leadership. That's natural. But on those days, remember this: you are not alone. You stand on the shoulders of those who came before you and beside shipmates who will have your back in ways that will stay with you for the rest of your life. You are stepping into a future that will test you, but I believe, we believe, the American people believe you are ready. Ready to innovate, ready to inspire, ready to lead in a Navy and Marine Corps that is evolving, modernizing, and building a more lethal, adaptable, and resilient force. You are the future of that force. So take pride in what you've achieved, take responsibility for what comes next, and take care of those you are privileged to lead. Your commission is more than a contract. It is a covenant with the American people. They trust you to defend this nation with honor, to wield power with restraint, and to lead with integrity even when no one is watching. So class of 2025, step forward with confidence, but carry within you the humility of those who came before. From the decks of destroyers to the cockpits of strike aircraft, from forward operating bases to submarines beneath the sea, you'll be the tip of the spear and the steady hand behind it. In closing, know this, your country is proud of you, not just for what you've done, but for who you've chosen to become. You are not just graduates, you are defenders of the Constitution, ambassadors of liberty, and the next generation of American leaders. May God bless you, your families, and the United States of America. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce the 50th Vice President of the United States, the Honorable J.D. Vance.
There you go, sir. Thank you. Knock that in there. Thank you. Well, it is great to be with you here on this incredible day, and I gotta say, it's a pretty cool trick where when people say good morning, you guys say it back in unison. So let me say good morning to the class of 2025. I want to say, first of all, thank you all for having me, and thank you especially to Vice Admiral Davids and Captain Allman for your hospitality. Thank you as well, of course, to Secretary Phelan for that great speech, Admiral Kilby, and General Smith for all that you do for our country. First off, I want to say, both from me and from President Trump, congratulations to the class of 2025. I want to say congratulations not just to you all, because you all have certainly earned a great honor, but congratulations to the families, the friends, the faculty, plus the other midshipmen and service members who join us on this beautiful morning and share in this incredible day. Now, it's always dangerous to give a politician a microphone, but I know that I am one of the very last things standing between you and your commission and your diploma. And so, out of respect, I just want you to know that this is only going to be a 3.5 or 4 hour speech. I hope you all brought your sunscreen because it's bright out here. But today is such an incredible day for you. Tonight, you'll celebrate in the finest tradition of the United States Naval Academy with great food and, of course, maybe a little drink. But I hope that as you celebrate, you remember that this is not just your day, as hard as you have worked for it. This day belongs to parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, teachers, brothers, sisters, and so many others. You, all of you, are the product of an incredible legacy. People who worked hard to give you a good education, food on the table, and a sense of possibility. People who took you to church, to practices, to tutoring sessions. People who prayed for you when you struggled and celebrated with you at moments just like today. Most of you are fortunate enough to have someone here to celebrate with you. Some of you don't. But whether they are here with you or not, the very best piece of advice I can give you is to begin your life in the fleet with a spirit of gratitude. Be thankful for all the people gathered here today and those who aren't, because they made you who you are and they got you to where you are today. And I hope you'll take from that gratitude a sense of duty. You owe it to the American people, to yourselves, but most of all to the people who sacrificed so hard to get you here. You owe it to them to do the best job you can, and I know that is exactly what you're going to do. Now, it's customary in speeches like this for people like me to offer words of congratulations and maybe a little bit of advice. Of course, I just did exactly that. But you're not just graduates of some random university about to embark on careers in the private sector, and I'm not just giving another political speech. I'm your vice president, and the minute you walk off this stage with your diploma and your commission, you will be officers in the United States Navy and the United States Marine Corps, and that is an incredible thing. You will be leaders of men and women in our armed forces. So while President Trump and I congratulate you on this incredible achievement, I also thought it would be appropriate to tell you a bit about how the President and I think of your mission in this new and very dangerous era for our country. Now, last week, the President took a very historic trip to the Middle East, meeting with heads of state in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. Most of the headlines focused on the trillions of dollars of new investment the President secured for our country, and that's, of course, an important thing. But I actually think the most significant part of that trip is that it signified the end of a decades-long approach in foreign policy that I think was a break from the precedent set by our founding fathers. We had a long experiment in our foreign policy that traded national defense and the maintenance of our alliances for nation building and meddling in foreign countries' affairs, even when those foreign countries had very little to do with core American interests. What we're seeing from President Trump is a generational shift in policy with profound implications for the job that each and every one of you will be asked to do. Now, following the collapse of the Soviet Union, our policymakers assumed that American primacy on the world stage was guaranteed. For a brief time, we were a superpower without any peer, nor did we believe any foreign nation could possibly rise to compete with the United States of America. And so our leaders traded hard power for soft power. We stopped making things, everything from cars to computers to the weapons of war, like the ships that guard our waters and the weapons that you will use in the future. Why did we do that? Well, too many of us believed that economic integration would naturally lead to peace by making countries like the People's Republic of China more like the United States. Over time, we were told the world would converge toward a uniform set of bland, secular, universal ideals, regardless of culture or country. And those that didn't want to converge, well, our policymakers would make it their goal to force them by any means necessary. So instead of devoting our energies to responding to the rise of near-peer competitors like China, our leaders pursued what they assumed would be easy jobs for the world's preeminent superpower. How hard could it be to build a few democracies in the Middle East? Well, almost impossibly hard, it turns out, and unbelievably costly. And it wasn't our politicians who bore the consequences of such a profound miscalculation. It was the American people, to the tune of trillions of dollars, but more than anyone, it was borne by the people who were in your shoes just a few short years ago, by our service members and their families. The tens of thousands of warfighters who sacrificed precious time, energy, and in some cases, their very lives in the line of duty. They are the ones who bore the costs of past failure. Our leaders abandoned clearly stated strategic goals for lofty, often incoherent abstractions. This is how, for example, we wound up chasing a $230 million pier in Gaza that worked for a grand total of 20 days while injuring over 60 American service members in the construction and maintenance of that pier. Our government took its eye off the ball of great power competition and preparing to take on a peer adversary, and instead, we devoted ourselves to sprawling, amorphous tasks like searching for new terrorists to take out while building up faraway regimes. Now, I want to be clear. The Trump administration has reversed course. No more undefined missions, no more open-ended conflicts. We're returning to a strategy grounded in realism and protecting our core national interests. Now, this doesn't mean that we ignore threats, but it means that we approach them with discipline, and that when we send you to war, we do it with a very specific set of goals in mind. And consider how this played out in just the last major conflict we engaged in with the Houthis over in the Middle East. We went in with a clear diplomatic goal, not to enmesh our service members in a prolonged conflict with a non-state actor, but to secure American freedom of navigation by forcing the Houthis to stop attacking American ships. And that's exactly what we did. We pursued that goal through overwhelming force against Houthi military targets. In just the first 100 days of the administration, we were able to reach a ceasefire in a conflict that had been ongoing for nearly 2 years. That's how military power should be used, decisively with a clear objective. We ought to be cautious in deciding to throw a punch, but when we throw a punch hard, and we do it decisively, and that's exactly what we may ask you to do. Now, that shift in thinking from ideological crusades to a principled foreign policy will help restore the credibility of American deterrence in 2025 and beyond. With the Trump administration, our adversaries now know when the United States sets a red line, it will be enforced. And when we engage, we do so with purpose, with superior force, with superior weapons, and with the best people anywhere in the world. Let me say something about weapons and the future of warfare. It is, of course, a priority of this administration, not just to keep, but to widen the technological edge between the United States military and our adversaries all over the world. In the wake of the Cold War, America enjoyed a mostly unchallenged command of the commons: airspace, sea, space, and cyberspace. But the era of uncontested U.S. dominance is over. Today, we face serious threats in China, Russia, and other nations determined to beat us in every single domain, from spectrum to low Earth orbit to our supply chains and even our communication infrastructure. Technology has lowered the cost of disruption, and so we must be, all of us, not just smarter. We got to make sure that we send our troops to war, we do it with the right tools. We can no longer assume our engagements will come without cost. That's why the Trump administration is investing in innovation, rewarding risk takers at the Department of Defense, and streamlining weapons acquisition for the new century. Investing in cutting-edge weaponry like hypersonics is important, but just as important are the low-cost, high-impact technologies that are already transforming the battlefield. Things like drones. And by the way, when we talk about innovation, innovation is not just happening in the laboratory of a defense contractor. Innovation increasingly is happening on the very battlefields that you will lead troops on. So that you are not just recipients of innovation, you're not just users of tools, you will very often be developing tools in this new century. Our lawmakers and military brass alike must learn to adjust to a world where cheap drones, readily available cruise missiles, and cyber attacks cause extraordinary damage to our military assets and our service members.